Welcome to the casting matrix. This is in response to those who are curious about our scoring system, which we shared in one of the casting briefs we put out. So this is the matrix that the scoring system builds. And I just wanted to share this video to show how it works and what we do with it and how powerful it is. So we fundamentally score every self-submitted sample from A to D. A is awesome, fantastic, bring them in, they bring the character to life. B is bring them in, they're fantastic performances which we really like, they're not just quite an A. C is less than a B, and D is dreadful. We don't bring D's in. So looking at the sheet here, you start on the suffer. Column B is the agent, very straightforward. G is gender, male, female, other. D is actor, and the actors are coded. The reason we code the actors is because we want to listen to their samples against the character without any influence at all. So we're listening solely to the performance against the character. BR stands for brief, whether the actor follows the brief. Once we get to the matrix, generally every actor has followed the brief because they wouldn't have got to this stage without following the brief. So any actor who doesn't follow the brief, they'll go straight in the bin. So if it says no headshot, they send a headshot, we won't even listen to them. Fundamentally, if they can't follow instructions when they're looking for a job in the first place, how are they going to follow instructions in production itself? It's very straightforward, it's quite brutal, but it's the reality of it. What we're doing is filtering down to create an absolutely fantastic cast for a production. And that is one way of clearing out dubious submissions. So, and one of the really weird statistics is that fundamentally 80% of all submissions don't follow the brief. So we're actually culling down to 20%. So this is the 20% remaining here in front of us. So onto the score one. This is very, very important. This is the weighting of all the scores. So it is the average score from the actor's overall submissions. So this actor at the top here, number 86, was very dumb in our idea. They submitted for 11 roles. They absolutely nailed one, but they sent in a load of dross, really, and one absolute humdinger. And fundamentally, every sample takes about half an hour to evaluate. We edit all the name references out of any sample, and then then probably three of us will listen through to the samples and make notes, and then create this score sheet individually, and then we'll all come together and then discuss our scores and make a final sheet. So. And the fundamental thing about the whole sheet and the submission process here is that it gives us a very good sense of the actor's personal self-awareness, whether they're good for a role or not, and their production awareness. This whole thing about time is money is really important to us at the production end, and somebody who's sending in lots of samples is wasting our time if they're not all brilliant. So what I always recommend, don't submit for more than 3 roles. All the roles here across different ages, different ethnicities, and accents, and it's just there's a very few actors out there who are massively versatile. There are a few down here which we can see that are versatile. They've got some good high scores, but they've also submitted some other duffers. So I would go for a couple that you really feel right for. Don't submit for stuff that isn't you. Because it wastes our time, and we will note it. This is noted, so it becomes very, very clear. So if you go on to other roles, let's have a look at this. This is a really good one. This is a female role. 4 submissions who just only submitted for that one role. Great work, Agent 4. That's what we want to see. Very, very limited submissions overall. And nailing submissions. And one of the things is actually, if we go on to the overall score, one of the things we do see is this demographic of the A's and B's group. There's 30 of them. Actually, 7 of them are male, and the 23 of them are female. Now, that demographic is absolutely true across most productions, well, in fact, all productions. And it actually shows that women tend to be more self aware, they know themselves better, and they know what they can play better, and they're more production sensitive. They're aware of the costs of it. The guys, on the other hand, are a little less messy, they're a bit messy. They over submit. Even though these guys down here would have got in if they cut it down to one or two submissions. It's best to submit for one that you're good at than lots that you're not and just hoping something is to stick. So use discernment. Discernment is something that this matrix really brings out. Straightforward. Just one of the character. This one. It's an interesting one because we've got an actor here who is an A, B, really strong submission, probably the strongest submission from two, but they get a D on the briefing and a final score of D, so they're dropped from the production, so not even considered. And this is simply because what's happened, they followed the initial brief, but when they've been asked about coming in, the agent said, well, they're not going to come into an audition. Maybe they wanted more money. Maybe there may be some reason, but they wouldn't be able to fit into the production. And when we put the brief out, we tell them what the fees are, what is expected of them, and if the actor can't deliver that, we want to know why. So we mark it as a D. It's not a thing that says it's dreadful. They just dropped from the production, but we flag it with the agent and actually bring it up with the agent and say, what was actually going on here. This is something that is actually. We don't want to see. It may simply just be that the actor got offered an amazing job and just couldn't do it. And at the time when they submitted, their schedule was open. That happens. It's not a bad thing, but it's just something is made clear, and having that clarity is so powerful. So. Let's go on to the agents. So then we evaluate the agents, and this is very straightforward. So the score here is the sum of the actor's score, and this is the sum of all the actors submitted by that agent score, which gives us an idea of what the agents are about. So agent one, it's got. Let's do it this way. Score by agent. Here we go. So agent one is got a few. B's and BCs, and obviously some very versatile talent and good talent. But under that, there is a lot of over submission. Some good little moments here, but there's lack of filtering and discernment going on there. Why they're over submitting, and a bunch of crap at the bottom. Sorry, they're just very weak. So it would suggest to me that the agent is actually, taking on lots of people without really evaluating their ability and helping them really focus in their casting and on their careers and stuff. So agent three, wow, this is a very, very strong group of women from agent three. 5 simple, straightforward single submissions. Great behaviour. Weaker on the guys, so probably run by a woman who's very sensitive and good with women. That kind of information comes out of the matrix. Again, agent 4 the same again, and again this cluster of very strong, some very versatile actors with 4 bring-em-ins, but they're also submitting too many roles. So we just talk to the agent about it and say, come on guys, can we get it a little bit tighter? Because it just saves us time, and it gives the actor a better opportunity to come in. So that's fundamentally the casting matrix. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you find it useful, and see you soon.